So, getting started. You're going to need a few things to get started. Number one, a copy of Flash, CS3 or CS4, but something that supports ActionScript 3.0. Duh, you probably have a version of Flash. Maybe you could get by doing this stuff with just the Flex SDK, but I'm going to guess if you care enough about Flash games that you're looking at Box2D, you've probably got a version of Flash somewhere. I also highly recommend getting yourself a copy of Flash Develop or some other sophisticated IDE like the Flex Builder or Eclipse, but get something that is a little better than what's built into Flash. Flash Develop, I think, is great if you're working with custom classes. It gives you code hints for custom classes in a way that Flash doesn't. And given that Box2D is made up of nothing but custom classes, you're going to find it real useful if you can have something like Flash Develop to kind of help you with your code. I'm going to be using Flash Develop throughout these lessons. I'm going to be taking advantage of some of the shortcuts that Flash Develop gives you. So if you don't have that or something like it, you might have a little trouble keeping up. You can download it at flashdevelop.org at the time of this writing, or I guess this speaking. Version 3.0, release candidate 1 is out. It's pretty easy to download and install. You do need a couple of things first. I think you need .NET 2.0 and I think you need Java 1.6. So once you've gone through the pain of installing those, downloading and installing Flash Develop is very easy. I was just able to click next a few times and everything works. It's also free, or I guess it's donationware, so please consider giving them a few bucks. I think it's totally worth it. And finally, you're going to need a copy of the Box2D for Flash files. You can download these at box2dflash.sourceforge.net. Now, when you download these files, you're going to unzip them and get a directory that looks a little something like this. Basically, in the directory itself, you're going to have a sample Hello World application, as well as this fizz test file. You can run this and see some of the cool little test bed applications they've got. We've got some ragdolls, always fun. We've got some compound shapes. We've got a few other things that we'll be looking at in future lessons. We got balls knocking over stacked boxes, all sorts of great stuff. Also within this folder, you've got 3 subfolders. Testbed contains essentially all of those little sample applications you just saw. If you're curious about how one of those sample applications work, you can take a look at these, and this might give you a little insight into some of that stuff. General contains a few nifty little helper classes that are not technically part of the Box2D engine. You've got an FPS counter, you've got a class that might make mouse and keyboard input a little easier to parse, but none of this stuff is, I think, really kind of crucial to the Box2D engine. It's just sort of extra stuff that the sample application uses. And then you've got the Box2D directory. This contains kind of the meat of the Box2D engine. You've got 3 subfolders in here, and you've got other subfolders in there, and this basically contains all of the code that actually makes Box2D work. So we'll be kind of looking a little more at these directories in the future, but just remember that all the code that runs the Box2D engine is in this little subfolder called, surprisingly, Box2D. So that's all you need to get started. In the next lesson, we'll be taking a look at kind of how to understand what's going on underneath the hood so that Box2D makes a little more sense. Stay tuned.